Have you ever looked around your life, your job, your schedule, your inbox, and thought, this isn't it anymore? Maybe what used to excite you now feels draining. Maybe your work looks good on paper, but your soul has gone a little quiet. Maybe there's a whisper or a full-on roar telling you it's time to do something new. But then the doubts come in. I'm too old to start over. I missed my chance. I don't even know what I want anymore. Or the classic, am I being unrealistic? If any of those thoughts have crossed your mind lately, this episode, my friend, is for you. But before we get into it, here is our song clip of the week. Another short snippet from my song, The Vow. So sit back, take a breath, soak it in, and I'll see you in a few seconds.
Oh, our love will last forever, 'cause we share the love, precious love of God. A happy song, perfect harmony. I love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love you, you and I.
Welcome back to the Dream in Action podcast, the podcast where dreams are encouraged and action is always celebrated. My name is Tiari. I'm your host, Dream Doula, transformational coach and career reinvention advocate by experience nonetheless. Today we are diving into something that feels like it's everywhere. At least it feels that way to me lately. It's in my DMs, it's in my client sessions, even in my own life. Let's talk about how to reinvent your career, your work life, your creative path, even if you feel stuck or like you've left it too late. Now, if we're really honest with ourselves, reinvention in our 40s, 50s, and beyond is scary, especially because it doesn't always come with fireworks and clarity, right? You simply start noticing this feeling of discomfort, or at least that's how it was for me. It's a feeling of, I can't keep doing this forever. It's more like a slow ache, a quiet despair. The work that once excited you now just drains you. The Zoom meetings feel pointless. Oh my goodness, I remember that viscerally. Your talents feel buried. And every time someone says, just be grateful you have a job, something in you withers. And look, you are grateful, right? You've done what you were supposed to do. You've built a career. You've collected the titles, paid the bills, maybe even helped raise a family along the way, right? You've done life. But now you're wondering, is this it? Is this all there is? If you've ever found yourself Googling careers for women in their 40s, or is it too late to start over? Or maybe you have been whispering to God, surely there's more than this. My friend, this episode is for you because this may in fact just be your most powerful season yet. So grab your notebook, a warm drink, or a glass of something bubbly if you prefer. We don't judge here. And let's talk about what it really takes to reinvent your career in midlife with purpose and not panic. My name is Tiari, and this is the Dream in Action podcast. Hey dreamer, quick pause. If this episode is stirring something in you, but you're not sure how to start, I've got you. Grab my free Dream Activation Kit. It's your first bold step out of confusion and into clarity. Inside, you'll get the Spark Session, a guided audio to help you reconnect with what you really want, my Dream Discovery Workbook to map it all out, and Dream Speak, a short affirmation track to boost your belief again. This isn't fluff, my friend. It is fuel, and it is completely free. DM me the word dream on Instagram at HeyTiari or head to the link in the show notes. All right, back to the episode. So if you've been listening to me for any length of time, you know that I love to kick things off with a definition. I feel like they are a good starting point to help shape and navigate a discussion, like the discussion we're having today. So let's start by defining career reinvention. Because when I say reinvent your career, I hope you don't think that I mean you need to quit your job tomorrow, go back to uni, or build a 6 or 7 figure empire overnight, unless you want to. In fact, I highly recommend that you do. But that's not what reinvention has to look like. So reinvention at its core means to remake or transform something so it becomes new, improved, or aligned with a different purpose. So when we talk about career reinvention, we're really talking about intentionally evolving how you work, why you work, and what you want work to give you in this next chapter of your life. It's not about blowing up your your life. Please don't think that is what I'm talking about. It's not even about realignment. It's asking the question, what do I want my days to feel like? What do I want my energy, or where, do I want my energy to go? Who am I becoming? And what kind of work supports this new version of me? Sometimes reinvention is dramatic. That's the truth. You know, the pivot, the leap, the plot twist, that's definitely been my personal experience going from law to music to copywriting to coaching. But a lot of the time, it's actually subtle. It might look like exploring a new field while still working your 9 to 5, saying yes to a creative outlet that lights you up, or letting go of a role or identity that no longer fits, or even finally putting yourself first for once. Here's something I want you to hear clearly. Reinvention doesn't mean you're lost. It means you are evolved or evolving, and your career is allowed to evolve with you. As Herminia Ibarra, author of Working Identity, says, we are not one true self. We are many selves, and we discover who we are by testing who we might become. And in my humble opinion, I believe that midlife is actually the perfect time to start asking these questions. Now, speaking of questions, this next one is a biggie. Why do we stay stuck even when we know we've outgrown the level that we're at? Why don't we move sooner? We obviously know that something feels off. We feel the disconnect, but still we stay. Here are 3 big reasons I see in my coaching and in my connecting with folks of different walks of life. Now, the number one reason, in my opinion anyway, is that we've made our work our worth, especially as women, especially in midlife. We often build our identity around our titles, our competence, our reliability, right? And do not know who we are without those things anymore. Worse still, over time, without even meaning to, we start to confuse what we do with who we are. So the idea of doing something new, especially something we're not instantly great at, feels alien and terrifying because we are not just dealing with reinvention here, but an identity crisis. But maybe that's what reinvention actually invites a chance to loosen the grip on the old you so the evolving you can breathe a little. Now, reason two, we don't know what else is possible. You've been towing and going down one lane for so long, you can't even imagine a different version of your life. Perhaps you are in a rhythm. In fact, you're most likely in a rhythm, even if it's not the right one anymore. And then you hear someone say, you can do anything. But that's not always helpful, is it? Because when we are deep in the day to day, raising kids, working full time, holding everything down, dreaming bigger can feel like a luxury. So if your brain draws blank when someone asks you, I don't know, Harriet, what else would you love to do? I implore you to give yourself some grace because you have been in survival mode. And sometimes you need space to even hear your own voice again, which leads me to reason number three. We're afraid of starting late. You're constantly faced with that voice in your head that says, if I was going to do something different, I should have done that 10 years ago. But that's just good old Miss Fear rearing her head again. I've connected with women who changed careers at 45, wrote their first book at 50, started creative projects at 60, and they didn't do it despite their age. They were finally ready to not just do it for themselves, but ultimately do it for their higher purpose. They fell in love with their work, not just because the job itself changed, but because they did. So what if now is actually the perfect time for you? Because you're wiser, most likely, more self-aware, and way less likely to care what people think. Now, obviously, there are many more reasons than I have time to list out here in today's episode. So why not share in the comment section of wherever you're listening to me now? What are the other reasons that keep midlifers stuck, doing work that no longer serves them? I'd love to hear from you. So far, we've covered what career reinvention is and why we get stuck, even though we know we should be reinventing. So a natural segue then is, how do you get yourself unstuck? What do you do if you feel stuck or lost? Hey dreamer, quick pause. If this episode is stirring something in you, but you're not sure how to start, I've got you. Grab my free Dream Activation Kit. It's your first bold step out of confusion and into clarity. Inside, you'll get the Spark session, a guided audio to help you reconnect with what you really want, my Dream Discovery Workbook to map it all out, and Dream Speak, a short affirmation track to boost your belief again. This isn't fluff, my friend. It is fuel, and it is completely free. DM me the word dream on Instagram at HeyTiari or head to the link in the show notes. All right, back to the episode. Here are a few gentle invitations to get things moving again without necessarily blowing up your life. Please don't do that. Number one, follow the frustration. I know, not the most glamorous place. I know, not the most glamorous place to start, but hear me out. I've probably shared this more times in more ways than I believe you care to hear, but sometimes clarity, it's going to talk about clarity again, doesn't show up as a bolt of lightning or a computerized download. Sometimes it shows up as a slow, simmering, I can't keep doing this. So what are you tired of tolerating? Is it that weekly meeting that makes your soul shrivel? Is it that project that always leaves you feeling unseen? Or maybe that routine that used to feel fine but now feels like a slow leak? Your frustration is useful data. Frustration is often just misdirected energy. It's your inner compass whispering, this isn't it anymore. So instead of brushing it off or pushing through, there are times that we have to push through, I know that. But what if you paused for a second and got curious about what your frustration is trying to tell you? Sometimes the first step toward reinvention isn't a leap. It is simply finally listening to that thing that has been annoying you for way too long. Here's my second invitation. Revisit. Here's my second invitation to what used to light you up. This is almost the opposite of the first point and should be done concurrently. As you follow the frustration, investigate the joy. Because life has a way of burying joy under bills, caregiving, deadlines, or just simply adulting. But what if some of the clues you're looking for are actually or were actually in your past? What did you used to lose time doing? What did you daydream about before you became this responsible adult? What made you feel most yourself before you had to be everything else to everyone? Maybe it was writing. Maybe it was teaching or drawing or solving puzzles or organizing community events. Maybe it was something you dismissed as just a hobby, and I'm doing air quotes, but secretly loved. You don't have to turn it into a career, at least not yet, not ever even, unless that's what you really want. But what if simply connecting with that spark gave you the energy to explore something new? Your joy could be the flashlight. And speaking of spark, here's my number 3 invitation. Start with the spark and not a strategy. I'm going to attempt to say this really gently, especially for the perfectionists at the back, myself included. You do not need a 5-year plan to begin again. You just need one small experiment, one what if? Maybe it's signing up for that short course that you bookmarked, 5 times. Maybe it's having coffee or tea with someone whose work you admire. Maybe it's volunteering, shadowing, or testing an idea on the side. And that's particularly is my expertise in coaching. I actually help you walk through how to set something up on the side. But here's the thing. We wait for clarity like it is some reward that will show up before the action. But like I have said over and over and over, and I know I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, 9 times out of 10, clarity comes through action. You learn by doing. And the smart folks, they learn and then do to get to the true learning. I invite you to exchange the map that you seek for courage to take that next tiny step in a direction that feels alive. So to reiterate, reinvention doesn't always start with a thunderclap. Sometimes it starts with a whisper, a nudge, a question you can't stop thinking about. Follow that. Also, remember what I said reinvention could look like. It doesn't have to mean quitting everything and starting all over. It could look like changing roles within your current industry or starting a side business on weekends, and I can help you with that. Or it could be creating art again just for you, building a brand that reflects who you are right now. Or maybe it is finally charging for the thing you used to do for free. The point is, you are allowed to choose again. You're allowed to outgrow old dreams and birth new ones. And even if the world does not hand you a roadmap, you can make your own. Hey dreamer, quick pause. If this episode is stirring something in you, but you're not sure how to start, I've got you. Grab my free Dream Activation Kit. It's your first bold step out of confusion and into clarity. Inside, you'll get the Spark session, a guided audio to help you reconnect with what you really want, my Dream Discovery Workbook to map it all out, and Dream Speak, a short affirmation track to boost your belief again. This isn't fluff, my friend. It is fuel, and it is completely free. DM me the word dream on Instagram at HeyTiari or head to the link in the show notes. All right, back to the episode. So as we round up, let me leave you with this quote of the week from the poet Rainer Maria Rilke, and I hope I'm not murdering his name. And it is this: the only journey is the one within. Do not seek the answers which cannot be given you, because you will not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. Thought that was really beautiful. If that stirred something in you, a whisper or a question, a possibility, then I'd love to help you explore it. You can start with the free Dream in Action kit that includes my Spark session audio, the Dream Discovery Workbook, and Dream Speak affirmations to help you reconnect with your voice, your vision, and your next bold move. You'll find the link in the show notes or just DM me on Instagram at HeyTiari and I'll send the link your way. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If this resonated, would you share it with a friend who is in her own season of reinvention? Or come say hi in my DMs and let me know what sparked something for you. I really, really love hearing your stories. And until next time, keep dreaming, keep daring, and keep moving towards your spark. And that's it for today's episode of Dream in Action. I hope this conversation stirred something in you, maybe a fresh idea, a little more clarity, or just a reminder that your dreams are valid and worth pursuing. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a review helps people find this podcast. It's like telling the algorithm, hey, this is worth listening to. So if this spoke to you today, and you don't even do any of the other two, please share it with a friend or two. Before we go, let me leave you with one of my favorite Bible verses of all time. Never doubt God's mighty power to work in you and accomplish all this. He will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination. He will outdo them all, for his miraculous power constantly energizes you. Ephesians 3:20. Until next time, dream wildly, live boldly, and keep going.